Well, welcome back, folks. This is Lynn with Dusty Roads Restoration, and back on the project, resurrection of my 55. So we're going to start doing some de-trimming of the fenders, and just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of, I'm getting a kick out of it. Of course, I am a professional collision repair technician, have been for many years. But this car was really my first really work on a vehicle, and so I get a kick out of some of the things that I've seen as, you know, hey, I was a 17-year-old kid doing it. But, you know, the outside of the car looks pretty good, but I think I'm missing a little paint in some areas. So I started looking, and very little paint inside along the edges. Inner fenders, I know I've painted the outsides of them, not sure on the inside. I do remember taking the fender off last time, and we have a broken bolt, so that'll be a video. I don't have a oxyacetylene torch, and I do not have an induction heater, but so this gives me a good reason to buy both, so I can show you you know how that works. Induction heater would be really cool for something like that. We could heat it up with a torch. I hate to say it, but I guess that's my welding. Some looks like some bird poop there, but like I said, all done by a high school kid. So I'm just looking. You know, other things don't look as bad. This was the face side of the inner fender. Well, like I said, we're going to do some de-trimming, so I will put the camera up, and we'll get digging into me tearing this thing apart. And I am going to be putting these in plastic bags and try to keep all the nuts and bolts stored. All my former students are probably going, you better have this all organized, or we're going to get you. This they heard me talking about it enough. We're going to need to shoot some penetrating oil on some of these. They're just not going to come loose without a little bit of extra help. Now we'll get what we can. We'll need to shoot some stuff on that one for sure. We're going to take we're just going to take the headlights out of the fender as well. It's kind of funny, some of the things you remember, you know, as you kind of go down memory lane about the car. And I think back about this, and it kind of cracks me up. But so I believe it was the the passenger side headlight every once in a while would go out. And instead of fixing the headlight, I used to get out, gently tap on the right front fender until the headlight came back on. So it's some of the things that you do as a kid going, why in the world would I do that? Obviously, I also was picking up whatever chrome screw was handy at the time, because I have two different size chrome screws on that headlight bezel. But you know, hey, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid putting his car together, I gotta remember that. You know, that's a long time ago, and different person back then. Of course, that's where I learned was on this car. So a lot of memories coming back to play. All the years that so all the time I was building this car, most of it was in my brother Daryl's garage. My brother Daryl and my sister-in-law Janet, and Daryl's gone on. He passed away a few years ago, and he's one that really got me in this business. I wouldn't be in the collision repair field today if it wasn't for my brother Daryl getting me into it. I was his tag along. He was my hero. So wherever he went, I was not far behind. And he got into collision repair, and I did too. So I think I am going to be starting. Well, I've been doing in the collision repair field about 45 and a half years. So I spent many years working on this 55 in high school. I'd walk back and forth between my mom and dad's house and my brother Daryl's house, walking through the field, and cold winter time, I had to walk out on the street, close to the street. That's always a little shady, you know. Later on, of course, I had something to drive. I could drive over there, but there's a lot of nights, man. I had a path worn between my brother's house and my mom and dad's house, and go over and work on this. While I was in high school, I guess it kept me out of trouble. I didn't get in any trouble in high school because I was kind of boring. But when your whole passion is getting your car done, it's kind of hard to get in trouble when that's what you're working towards. So I guess my dad knew it was probably a good thing. Probably my brothers, my mom too. Like, hey, let's keep him busy and he won't get in trouble. So I guess it worked out pretty good. Got some rubber snubbers that are still somewhat pliable, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if I get this one off. Yep, it came off. I do have some new attachments, some new screws and stuff like that. We'll see if I end up using them. Sometimes better to use the old originals if possible. And I've got some so one of the things that you kind of might be wondering, why if I had good fenders that I start with, why did they end up getting rusty? Well, when you're a young kid and you're bound, determined to go enjoy your car, there's times where you go drive it and you shouldn't, and that was my case on this one. There was times where I should have just stayed home, but I wanted to drive that car, and I probably kind of did in some of those good fenders. That's why they rusted out. That and also our the way that we used to spot weld back then was pretty primitive compared to what it is now. So our new spot welder's much better technology than we had back then. Also, a lot of folks, you know, have used a MIG welder, and that's one of the things that I do. Is I go around the country and teach folks and certify folks on steel MIG welding. And when I started in businesses before we had MIG welders in the body shop, everything was done with oxyacetylene torch. And later on, I'll never forget my brother Daryl that I was working for. He, I don't know where he got it from, but bought a MIG welder. And I'll tell you that was a pretty exciting day in my career. That first time actually getting to use a MIG welder. That was pretty cool. And I was immediately put down the torch. It was like, this is a lot better process. And obviously still using one today, and also certifying folks with steel MIG welding, aluminum, and other courses. So folks, whenever you're taking something loose, you know, take a minute to use. Now, a lot of people don't want to use WD-40, and there are other materials out there, you know. I'm trying to think some of the other brands. The rust busters, basically. Looks like the old lights aren't too bad a shape. I'll clean the chrome up on them, but not bad. I think we'll do. And so I got one more bolt in there that is, I put a little bit of, my old instructor would have said put a little goose grease on it. He said a lot of other things, but we won't say that here. So we want to keep this a G-rated channel. Like we're gonna have to do a little heating on that one, but we'll get that one later. So this is the right fender, right side. This is that headlight I was telling you about that used to do the bounce on the top of it, which is really funny now that I think about it. Oh man, I'll tell you, some of my attachments that's on this old car, there's a little bit of rust I didn't do anything with. So funny to look back, and of course you look back with a critical eye, and I really shouldn't. Poor kid was just a high school student, so you know, hey, like I said, I can't be too critical, even though I will be. We're a high school kid doing this. Now I will say I did have some help. I had lots of help from my brothers, my dad, mainly my brothers, probably the most though. You know, Daryl was in his garage, so I literally had that car in Daryl and Janet's garage for 4 years, 3 or 4 years, doing all the body work. And I took that car down to the bare metal. I don't know how many times I put body filler on that roof, and I took it off and put it back on. And they were so gracious and nice to let me have it do that. You know, I just look back and how fortunate I was to do that. Of course, Daryl and I ended up going into business together. I never owned Sherrill Body and Paint, so Nobody ever, you don't want to think that I had anything to do with the actual ownership, but I definitely worked for him for many years. And but this was really the start of it. What for me was this car. We'd started working on some cars. I was probably 12 or 13, and we restored Janet's '65 Super Sport Chevelle. Beautiful little car. Original Super Sport 327, 4-speed, 12-volt positive track. Neat little car. Marina blue, that real pretty blue. Just a gorgeous car. And we put a quarter panel on that, restored it, completely painted it, Daryl painted it, and then we did some light rebuilders. So that's kind of really the start of where we began, and then just grew from there. And then of course this was my main project, was this car, and so I'm bringing back a lot of memories today, working on the old gal. I haven't snapped the bolt yet. I'm doing pretty good. Pretty happy about that. Now watch me snap about 4 or 5 of them. But so far, no snapped bolts yet. Yeah, I have to spray those down. Those are gonna need some more goose grease. But they've only been sitting on there for 40 some years at the minimum. That's a little while. So one thing that's kind of cool about this whole deal, this whole car, is Sharon and I, my wife of over 40 years, we went out on our first date in this car. I just had the new interior put in it, the roll and tuck interior. So in the last video, I kind of section, I said we're gonna get into doing the hood, and I'm fibbing to you a little bit. We're actually gonna cover a little bit more about the fenders. So these are the scripts, the nameplates are on the fenders of this particular Chevy. So I think they would just have been on the 210. I think the Bel Airs have a chrome strip that goes on it, but I couldn't think of the term of what those were held on. So they were held on by barrel nuts, and so they're a little deal that goes into the hole, and it grabs on these little studs here on the nameplates. But was able to get those off without breaking them. And if you recall, I said something about hopefully I don't twist off a bolt. I twisted off a bolt when you weren't watching. So it looks like we get to do an extraction with an easy out and a little bit of heat down the road. But so I'm not going to do anything else with these fenders for a while. I mainly wanted to tear them down so that they're easier to store, to put away. I've got a lot to do to the car, the body, the drivetrain. I really don't need to be, problem is I don't want to fix the fenders up real nice and then have them bouncing around and possibly damage them. So that's why I wanted to de-trim them. Since I did twist off the bolt, I thought, before I do the hood, I'm going to really soak those bolts down and nuts, try to get them loosened up, because the hood's got a lot of trim that really would screw up if I break those nuts and stuff. So like I said, this first video, really this dismantling video, has been really a trip down memory lane. And so I'm coming to think, coming to mind of all the people that have been a big part of my life, but also a part of this car. And really, a person I really got to shout out, I've mentioned his name earlier, but thank you, my big brother Dana. So I was storing my 55 in a little one-hole garage that we had at the time, a dirt floor, and it was not doing any favors to this car. And Dana said, man, you're gonna ruin this car. He came and got it with his trailer. He put it in his shop, and he stored that car for probably 25 years or more. So I really got to give a shout out to Dana for saving the car, and I do really appreciate that until we moved to our new place and had a place to put it. But I love you, big brother. Thank you for being smarter than me on that car and helping me preserve it. And so I love you, and thank you for doing that. Also, thank you to my wife for keeping me from selling that car. People wanted to buy the car over the years, and she said, you sell that car, I file for divorce. She had a emotional tie to this car as well. So thank you, honey. I love you so much. Thanks. It's a miracle from God we're still together after everything, and I'd love you more than I've ever loved you. So I don't want to get mushy on you folks, but once again, thank you for tuning in. I really hope that you will share, you'll like, you'll subscribe to the channel. Just a little guy trying, well, I'm not little, but you know, little channel trying to get started. And if you enjoy the content, if you got any questions, please comment. And thank you for being here. Just thank you so much. God bless y'all, and we'll see you soon, folks. So I have a camera that I'm about ready to throw across the room because it keeps stopping on me. But I was saying, I took Sharon out on our first date in this car. We've been married over 40 years. So I've got a lot of sentimental value getting the old car back on the road. She was the first one to ride in the car after the brand new interior. I literally picked the car up from the upholsterer, and I think it was that same night, or within a few days of we went out on our first date. So a lot of memories in the old car. You know, I get a kick out. This is that light that was blinking. So what in the world? Oh, here we go. I'm wondering what, why that was blinking. It was a bad connection or what was going on. Kind of hard to say. Shout out to my kids, Shane and Kelsey. Kelsey's out in Seattle, Washington area, and I know she really been on me to, she and her boyfriend Casey have been on me to get this car back on the road. So shout out to Kelsey and Casey. I'm working on it. But hopefully sooner than later we'll get this puppy back on the road. Now a lot of people might be saying, why are you going back with the 305 engine? Mainly, I have it, already own it. Jeff and his group at Manhattan Area Technical College Auto Technology program went through the engine. Did not need a whole lot. I think I had to buy, like the bearings needed to be, I want to say they were wrong size bearings in there. Basically re-ring it. I had to get all the details. I haven't picked the motor up yet, my fault. He's had it done for a long time, but my job, I do a lot of traveling, so haven't had a chance to pick it up. But that's the biggest reason that I'm using that motor is I own it, it's cheap, and you know, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you need to have more horsepower than that, and I agree. But this is first step in just getting it back on the road. Like I said, I might, as I go forward, change my mind, put a different engine in it. You know, I'm very tempted to do the LS deal, but I also like just the simplicity of a small block Chevy. So we'll see what the future brings on that. But time being, though, I think we're going to do the little 305. Because my deal is, I just want to get the car back on the road, enjoy it, enjoy driving it. You know, I've been in and around a lot of cool cars over the years, and there's something about driving a 55 Chevy that gets a lot of looks, and I should say Tri-5, so any of the Tri-5, but really, think about it. If you're driving down the road and you see an old car of any kind, it really perks your interest. At least it does for me. And you know, it used to be when I was building this car, somebody had a 4-door. Man, I was kind of a 2-door snob. Oh man, I don't care about that. That's a 4-door. I don't feel that way anymore. If I see a cool looking old 4-door, I love it. I mean, it's you just don't see those old cars on the road anymore. And so when you see a Tri-5 or you know, even something else is maybe not quite as popular. You see one of those old cars, 4-door or 2-door, it's like, oh yeah, look at it as it's going down the road. To me, that's kind of fun. So our perspectives change over time. You know, I'm kind of like a lot of folks. You know, we keep thinking about how many young folks are going to build cars down the road, and you look at some of the cars that they would have an opportunity to build. There's not as many cool cars as when I was growing up, and that's been kind of a subject of conversation is, you know, what do we do to get some of these cars back in the hands of, you know, some of these young folks? Get them interested in these cars and building them and driving them, enjoying them. So my brother Dana does a lot of going to car shows with his cars. He's got a 68 Z28 Camaro original. He has owned it since 1975. Owned this car a long time. It's a beautiful car, red and white, original MO block 302. Super nice car. He's got Corvette. His wife's got a newer Camaro, and they really enjoy car shows. They enjoy going to them and talking to folks. And guys, I don't know that this one's going to be in a car show. I love car shows, but I don't know if I'm going to do that scene because this car isn't going to be perfect. Could I build a perfect car or a much more perfect car than this one? I do believe I have the skills to do it. The problem is the time it would take, and if I built that perfect car, I don't think I'd drive it. I wouldn't enjoy it. And that's the whole idea, is I want to really get this thing out, enjoy it, drive it, have fun with it. And I think if I built a car that I could build, talent-wise, I'm afraid I wouldn't drive it. And I know that's, you can ask my wife, but I am a perfectionist. And you go, well, you sure as heck don't look like a perfectionist. Big old fat guy and everything, you know, but I have found that there's some of us that are perfectionists that we don't ever want to finish anything because then you're always critical of it, and that is me. If I finish something and it doesn't matter what it is, I'm super critical of it. And I think that's what's kind of attractive and about redoing this one now, is I get to tell y'all it's a high school kid. Don't make fun of the high school kid. Now, if I'm able to get this old girl back on the road, and I really do want to build more than this car. So this channel hopefully will grow. If not, hey, it's for my family and friends to see it, but I really do want to build more cars. There's some different ideas I have, and maybe I build one of those cars that is super cool. I don't know. Maybe that'll happen. But, you know, the problem is it's hard to see. You build a beautiful car and you take it out driving it and somebody bumps into you or breaks the paint on it or does something. I would just be sick. I'd be sick if this car got wrecked. Don't get me wrong, I would, but it would be a whole different ball game if I spend 3 years redoing it, drive it, and something happens. The other thing is too, I'm not getting any younger. I'm no spring chicken. I want to enjoy the car now, and I know I'm going to enjoy just getting out and driving it. Just get out and drive it and watch people oogle and awe over it. That's the cool part. And so, you know, I think that's my goal right now, is just get out, get the car out on the road, enjoy it, drive it. Boy, I really got this Hummer in there. I get a kick out of this, folks. Of course, when I went to paint this car, and I'll give full disclosure, actually, so I did this car, my brother, who owns Stroll Body and Paint, when he first started, he did not start out owning a body shop. He actually had one of the first cheap easy liner frame machines in Manhattan, Kansas. He went to frame school, and so he was doing his body shop in Sam Seals Body Shop. And I think Sam Seals just passed away here not that many years ago, a couple years ago. But shout out to Ron Swert, who worked for Sam many years ago. But so Sam said, my brother Daryl had his frame shop in Sam's Body Shop, and I said, hey Sam, I want to try to get my 55 done. My goal was to get it done before I graduated high school. And I said, hey, I'm going to be off school my senior year, you know, between Christmas and New Year's. Can I bring my 55 in there, get it put together, and paint it? And Sam looked at me, and it's like, you're not going to get it done, but yeah, if you can come in and do that. And I'll never forget, Sam had come by and felt the body filler, the body work I'd done on the car. He goes, yeah, you'll be a body tech. You'll be a body man. You're good. But he still didn't believe I was going to have that car done and put together by the time that week was out. So it was painted under a little bit of duress, you might say. And I'm just looking at this headlight cap, and we'll take a look at it here in a little bit. But you can see my body filler scratches in the bottom of that. Didn't get any primer on it, or didn't get enough, excuse me. So it's still there. But you know, here again, high school kid doing all this. Let's see if we got this unhooked. Yeah. So one of the things that's kind of deceiving about Tri-5s, they look like they're a heavy car. And people used to call the 55 the shoebox. So they call it a shoebox. Well, there's a reason that they were raced. If you'll notice, there's nothing in here. There's that inner fender, but there's a lot of empty space. The reason that Tri-5s were raced is, number one, they were the first V8 made. So the first V8 ever made was a 265. Now, excuse me, let me back up, rewind. First V8 for Chevrolet, as up to that time they hadn't made any V8. So it was the first Chevrolet V8, it was a 265. But the reason that people raced these cars, they were light. They were not heavy. So 55, 56, 57 were not heavy cars. And besides, they look cool. You can't argue with that. But then the 58s, the 59s, the 60s Chevys, man, they got heavy, got real heavy. They were a lot heavier car. This was a fast car because it was light. And so that's the reason it got raced so much, because they weren't heavy to maneuver and that kind of stuff. And they'd go down the drag strip pretty darn quick. And my brother Daryl used to tell a story about a friend of his, and I want to say it was Glenn Evans. So Glenn, if you're still out there, shout out to you. But I'm pretty sure it was Glenn Evans had a '55 Chevy with a straight 6 that he'd highly modified, and that old car would actually cook it going down the road. So he actually raced it with the 6-cylinder, but really it was the V8 265 that really revolutionized everything. So the 55 had a 265, the 56 had 265, and then 57 was the first year for the 283, and that was a bigger boost in power, and then it just continued on from there. But 283 was really a fine motor. Had a lot more power than the 265, and a lot of guys and gals that are doing restoration will use a 265. I'm going to show you for just a second how these nameplates are put on. So there's a Chevy nameplate on the other side, and has these little clips that push down over the studs. So I'm just going through there, and I've got the WD loosen them up. Now I did notice that the other side, the other fender, and see how these are called, well, what are they called? Speed nuts, or some would call them, yeah, speed nuts, I think is what they were called. Now there's different versions, but they just slip on there. And I noticed on the other side that I must have used, I'm trying to think of the name of them, but they actually kind of clip on they go in the hole, and then they slip, the moldings go through them. So that's what I did on the other side. So I have to be careful because I don't want to hurt the nameplate. And I'll see if this one slips off or not. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some finagling. I don't want to damage that script. It looks like I might have had put one of those on it from the outside, and then slipping that in. So I want to soak it down, make sure I don't hurt something. I'm going to try a wrench on those. So I've got my little now if Harbor Freight wants to sponsor me, I'd be just tickled pink if they did that. But I've got some Harbor Freight toolbox, and then I also have a this little cart, which is kind of handy, and got them all at the same time. Yeah, I really need some longer wrench. Get that loose. Now let's try it again with my little mini impact, see if that gets it loose. I'll tell you, these little Milwaukees are. So, Milwaukee, if you want to sponsor me, I'd be happy to have more of your wonderful tools. Just saying. Yeah, I'm gonna have to soak that one down some more. So I'm definitely gonna be getting a induction heater or oxyacetylene torch to warm up some of these old bolts and stuff, so I don't do any damage to them. But we'll soak that down some more. PB Blaster is what I was looking for earlier. PB Blaster works really well. So I do want to give a shout out to a number of different shows that have really inspired me, and probably the first one is Doug at Ellis Car Customs. Doug is in New York State, And I have asked him questions. He has been so very helpful. You know, I really have been inspired by watching his show. The other one is Dee Dee's Speed Shop in Canada, Dan and Danielle. So Dan has built a number of 55s, taken some 4-doors and turned them into 2-door sedan, 4-door sedans into 2-door sedans. But the part that I like about those guys is, you know, hey, let's get it back on the road. Let's enjoy it. Of course, Vice Grip Garage, and he has done so much to also bring that along. The guys from, you know, Motor Trend, you Roadkill guys, Freiberger, and those guys have done so much to, hey, get it out and enjoy it. And that's finally got through my thick head. Look, this doesn't have to be a perfect car. And really my daughter pushing me, going, hey, get it back on the road. And that's what we got to do, is we got to go out and enjoy these cars. You know, and we don't know what tomorrow might hold, but let's get out and enjoy them and have some fun. So I'll be back here shortly. We'll dig into the hood. So in the last video, I kind of section, I said we're gonna get into doing the hood, and I'm fibbing to you a little bit. We're actually gonna cover a little bit more about the fenders. So these are the scripts. The nameplates are on the fenders of this particular Chevy. So I think they would just have been on the 210. I think the Bel Airs have a chrome strip that goes on it, but I couldn't think of the term of what those were held on. So they were held on by barrel nuts, and so they're a little deal that goes into the hole, and it grabs on these little studs here on the nameplates. But was able to get those off without breaking them. And if you recall, I said something about hopefully I don't twist off a bolt. I twisted off a bolt when you weren't watching. So it looks like we get to do an extraction with an easy out and a little bit of heat down the road. But so I'm not going to do anything else with these fenders for a while. I mainly wanted to tear them down so that they're easier to store, to put away. I've got a lot to do to the car, the body, the drivetrain. I really don't need to be, problem is I don't want to fix the fenders up real nice and then have them bouncing around and possibly damage them. So that's why I wanted to de-trim them. Since I did twist off the bolt, I thought, you know, before I do the hood, I'm going to really soak those bolts down and nuts, try to get them loosened up, because the hood's got a lot of trim that really would screw up if I break those nuts and stuff. So like I said, this first video, really this dismantling video, has been really a trip down memory lane. And so I'm coming to think, coming to mind of all the people that have been a big part of my life, but also a part of this car. And really, a person I really got to shout out, I've mentioned his name earlier, but thank you, my big brother Dana. So I was storing my 55 in a little one-hole garage that we had at the time, a dirt floor, and it was not doing any favors to this car. And Dana said, man, you're going to ruin this car. He came and got it with his trailer. He put it in his shop, and he stored that car for probably 25 years or more. So I really got to give a shout out to Dana for saving the car. And I do really appreciate that until we moved to our new place and had a place to put it. But I love you, big brother. Thank you for being smarter than me on that car and helping me preserve it. And so I love you, and thank you for doing that. Also, thank you to my wife for keeping me from selling that car. People wanted to buy the car over the years, and she said, you sell that car, I file for divorce. She had a emotional tie to this car as well. So thank you, honey. I love you so much. Thanks. It's a miracle from God we're still together. after everything, and I'd love you more than I've ever loved you. So I don't want to get mushy on you folks, but once again, thank you for tuning in. I really hope that you will share, you'll like, you'll subscribe to the channel. Just a little guy trying, well, I'm not little, but you know, little channel trying to get started. And if you enjoy the content, if you got any questions, please comment. And thank you for being here. Just thank you so much. God bless y'all, and we'll see you soon, folks.